And now I'm talking to Kevin Jenkinson, who is a board member of Fairtrade Ireland. Kev, how's it going? Kev, I would think that virtually everyone listening to us today will know who Fairtrade are, but to increase knowledge of the organisation and movement, could you tell me what Fairtrade is and what it means to you?
Hi Darren, yeah, Fairtrade to me means reducing poverty. Fairtrade means exactly what it is, which is a fair trade. I buy something and I know that money from that product is going to a farmer, that it's a fair price that's going to that farmer. A minimum price is what's key to fair trade. So when you're buying something like in Bewley's and Insomnia, in Aldi and Lidl, in Tesco's, in all those stores, when you buy something that has that fair trade mark, you know that money, a percentage of that, is a good percentage of that is going to a farmer who has made key ingredients in that product, like coffee beans, like cocoa, and for bananas and for flowers even, and things like that. And and what fair trade is, it's a way of promoting fair trade practices, and it's decreasing poverty. It's a very, very key way for the world to reach this UN goal, the Sustainable Development Goal, to reduce world poverty by 2030, and many other important things that have to be done to make the world better for all of us.
I've covered the fair trade movement a couple of times in interviews, but not in a few years until now. Is it true to say that the demand and supply of fair trade products has increased in Ireland in recent years?
Absolutely it has, and as a board member of Fairtrade, I'm extremely proud of that fact that Ireland is really punching above its weight. If spending on fair trade products in Ireland alone is up 25%. There's been
from last year, is it?
Yeah, well, sales of fair trade products in Ireland grew from €273 million in 2016 to €342 million in 2017. That's a staggering 25% increase. This means that people across Ireland are really, really getting the message that fair trade helps people in poorer countries. And we huge thanks to companies like Bewley's, who've gone 100% fair trade. Well done, Bewley's. They've really, really done well, and they obviously are fully supportive of the movement. And it is a very important movement to improve living standards and working rights and working standards for workers around the world. But we have Insomnia, where we're discussing this right now. We are outside Insomnia, and they also sell fair trade coffee and tea and products. And we in Ireland, we're very we have stores like Aldi, and Lidl, who are selling. Aldi sell fair trade flowers, and there's a lot of stores in Ireland that sell, like Tesco's as well. They sell fair trade chocolate and coffee. There's been huge growth. Sales of bananas were up 5%, and and this is very interesting actually. I think fair trade flowers in Ireland have sold over 2.6 million fair trade roses in Aldi, and that's really interesting. And there's other figures that are there, like coffee. There's been a 42% increase in sales in coffee here, a 5% increase in banana sales in Aldi. So yeah, there's a lot of growth, and it's something that Ireland should be very proud of. And we need to kind of continue this. We need to continue to buy fair trade products when possible, and to support people in countries across the world where they maybe before this weren't getting a fair price. We need to increase working standards for these people. So please, I would urge everybody to look at what you're buying and look for that fair trade mark, and to make that purchase. When you buy something that's got a fair trade mark on it, you are changing lives.
You mentioned there Lidl's and coffee. I think it'd be great for me personally if there was decaf fair trade in Lidl's or Aldi. That's where I get my coffee, and I get decaf or fair trade tea bags in Lidl's and Aldi, but the coffee unfortunately there is not decaf. What fair trade product is there the most demand for in Ireland, do you know?
The biggest demand in fair trade is definitely, I suppose, with coffee and also with bananas. The sales are huge. So they're the two key things. There's also many other products like flowers, like cocoa beans, and they're also huge. And the goal is obviously to sell everything with Fairtrade. I mean, everybody that produces something should get a fair price for what he produces, what he or she produces, and that the price sold on the street should obviously be very reasonable. But we need to buy with conscience. We can't just expect to buy something that's extremely cheap, and we have to understand that product is made somewhere with somebody, by somebody, and we have to know that they're getting a fair price for that. This is what's we can't have large retailers making getting the biggest slice of the pie. We need the producers to get their slice, and we need them. And the thing with Fairtrade is, if you buy something that has a Fairtrade mark, and the farmer or producer gets gets a minimum price. When you buy something at Fairtrade, they get a Fairtrade minimum price, and that's audited and checked by FlowCert. And basically, what that means is that the community benefits, and you have that domino effect, where the family that's producing the good gets a fair price, and the community benefits overall. Yeah. So that reduces poverty, and this is key.
I know from covering the Fairtrade movement a few years ago, I covered the campaign to make Clondalkin a Fairtrade town. I think it was 2013 or 14, and I know that some of not only does the farmer get a good price for what he sells, but some of the money is increased, in kind of or infrastructure, isn't it?
Yeah,
or equipment rather.
Yeah, there's programs, and there's educational programs, and there's training programs and equipment, and there is money put into programs to help farmers, say in farming, or say in coffee producing, for example. In Ireland, last week, there was, at the start of Fairtrade Fortnight, we had a farmer over from Honduras and other areas, and we had a wonderful woman from Kenya who was showing her a product that was a coffee that was produced by women who actually own the coffee bushes in Kenya, and they get huge support from the money that is raised from people buying Fairtrade products.
We are now coming towards the end of Fairtrade Fortnight 2018. Could you tell me a bit about the history of this fortnight and what you do every year during the fortnight?
Yeah, there are a number of events through Fairtrade Fortnight. I could list them, but the best thing to do for everybody is to go onto the Fairtrade Ireland website and to look up and see what's happening near you. There is something happening all over the country right now. There's a lot of things happening. But Fairtrade Fortnight began in 1997 as a way to promote fair trade, really, and to get people to buy fair trade, to raise awareness and just to get people aware of it. And it has been an incredibly, it's been a huge success, and that's thanks to you, the consumer. You have made fair trade what it is today, and we really would love for you to continue to support this and to make your friends and family and everybody else aware of it, to urge them to buy fair trade. It's not just a thing that you're buying. It's you're saving, and you're changing the lives of people who you have never met and may never meet, but it's a huge impact.
Okay, to finish up the interview, Kev, can you tell me how you and Fairtrade Ireland will be spending the rest of Fairtrade Fortnight and the rest of the year up until Fairtrade Fortnight next year?
Well, to start with, I will only be buying, I try my very best to only buy Fairtrade products when I'm shopping. And, if I'm in the city centre here in Dublin City, I'd always prefer to go somewhere like Insomnia or go to Bewley's or places that actually sell Fairtrade products. Because I know that that's going to people, I know that that's improving the lives of some of the world's poorest farmers. So that's one thing that I'll be doing, and that's what we would like, people in general to do, is to just support fair trade by buying fair trade products in your shops, in your local shops and supermarkets, and by going to places that sell fair trade products. But not only that, to actually ask, maybe you've got a coffee shop that's very independent and isn't part of a chain like Insomnia, that you actually would ask your local coffee shop to buy to sell fair trade coffee, or to make coffee that's fair trade, or tea, or to sell chocolate that's fair trade. And lots of places around Dublin and Ireland do, and it's fantastic. But just to keep keep that up, just to ask people to do that, to sell fair trade. And we also, in Fairtrade are very proud of the huge achievements that have been made by consumers and by companies like Bewley's. I mean, 100% fair trade is absolutely incredible, and we would urge other companies to look at that and to get in touch with Fairtrade Ireland. We are a small number of. There's a small number of people working in Fairtrade Ireland who are number small but achieve big. These are really, really, really excellent people, hugely devoted, and they deserve a lot of praise. And Fairtrade International in general, and all of the Fairtrade organisations work together, the same goal. And at the core of that is to reduce poverty, and this is what this is all about, and improve working standards, and to give people a fair price for what they make.
I know you're on the board of Fairtrade. You don't work full time for Fairtrade. Are the staff who work in Fairtrade Ireland like full time? Will they be spending the rest of the year kind of going out to companies trying to encourage them to supply Fairtrade? Is that what they do? Like,
they do actively all the time. Yeah, the staff are very hard-working, excellent professionals who, they absolutely do everything they can to contact companies and to achieve these excellent goals, or companies go fair trade. That's what they do. It's what they've been doing for many years now in Ireland and around the world, and they have excellent relations, and they're very held at high regard around the world as indeed fair trade community and NGO community, and in business circles as well. These are really high achieving professionals working for Fairtrade Ireland in Ireland, and the country should be proud of what they've done, because it makes Ireland, it does a lot of good for the world's poorest farmers. It does a lot of good for Ireland too, and for Ireland's business community, who really should jump on board this a lot more and do follow the likes of Bewley's and Insomnia and Aldi and all these other companies who really do get behind this movement, and they support it as much as they can.
Alright, Kev, it's great talking to you. I might talk to you again at Fairtrade Fortnight 2019 next year if I'm not talking to you before that. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Darren.